I want to take a minute to welcome everyone to the second in the series of Aging in Alameda County webinars sponsored by the Area Agency on Aging. The Advisory Commission on Aging works as a commission in concert with the staff of the Area Agency on Aging to develop, plan, and advocate for programs and services that meet the needs of older adults and their caregivers through collaboration and education here in Alameda County. My name is Deborah Cooper. I'll be serving as the host of this wonderful event and guiding the conversation with our guests. We have some guest grandparents as well as a couple of professionals that work in this field that are going to be able to provide you with information about the resources, services, and supports that are available to you if you find yourself in this situation. I'd like to bring on our grandparents first so they can go ahead and take care of their responsibilities with the children that they take care of. Let's start with, we have Sophia and Erica and Catherine. So what I like to do, I have a couple of questions that I'd like you each to do popcorn style. Let's start with Sophia because she's technically at work, but she kind of, coming in and sitting in with us. I'd like to ask you to begin by just giving us a brief summary of how you became a caregiver of some young family members, whether it's your grandkids or some other relative. How did that happen? Just a brief summary. We're not trying to get all in your business, so you have to unmute yourself, Sophia.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. How I became a caregiver was when my grandson actually came to me. He just decided that this is where he wanted to be. So, with that being said, of course, you all went the normal route, the route of the parent thing, and that just didn't work out with him going with his parents because we had a maternal bond since birth anyway, and he was looking for something more consistent.
Interesting. How old was he when he made this decision?
Yeah, opposed to hit or miss. And he mentioned with his own words that he feels safer with his grandmother.
Okay. How old was he, Sophia?
He was 9 years old at the time.
Wow, so mature.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Catherine? Oh, you're muted.
My daughter, welcome to me and to everyone here. Thank you for inviting me to participate.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I became kinship, foster care, guardian, adoptee, whatever those titles are. I'm taking care of my grandson, because my daughter gave birth to a child who had opiates, including fentanyl, in his bloodstream. And
Okay.
I was asked to come to pick him up from the hospital.
Wow.
I've had him, he's 10 months old yesterday. So I've had him for almost 10 months. They had to keep him in the hospital for the first 2 weeks, but I've had him since that time.
And what about you, Erica? Oh, you're muted.
I did the same thing everybody else did and said I wasn't going to do that. Good morning, Ms. Cooper and the other grandparents as well. I actually had a situation with my daughter who began running away when she was about 10. And she ran away and never got herself on track. And then when she became pregnant, she doesn't believe in having abortions. So she went on and had the baby, and she was a really good parent for, I'm going to say, about a year. And then I started noticing different things were going on. And whenever I would come and pick her up, my granddaughter, who was actually 10 now, whenever I would come and pick her up and would have her, and when she would come to get her, I would notice that she was under the influence. And at that point, then she was my baby, my baby, my baby. She wouldn't allow her to come with me. Um, and I knew that she didn't need to be in this situation. So I took it upon myself to go down there and get custody of my granddaughter. And I've had her since she was about 1. And she lives here
She's
with
10
me, and
now.
this is where she wants to be. So that's how it all came about.
Well, it sounds like a good thing you guys are doing. Well, I wanted to ask you too, um, what do you think, what's been the biggest challenge for you? Something like, a 1 minute summary. What's been the biggest challenge for you about this situation? It sounds like a pretty, like the kids were in some kind of state of trauma and a little bit of crisis when they came to you. And I'm sure that had some impact on both of you. So what would you say though, that bit aside, was the biggest challenge for you through this process? You start with
Um,
you, Sophia.
I think that the biggest challenge for me was, first of all, King came to me with abuse from his stepfather. So the biggest challenge for me when he came to me was watching him transition and go through fake because he was 9. Although this is where he wanted to be, he still had a separation anxiety from his mom and his younger siblings. So watching him transition and go through all these stages and feelings and act out sometimes and displace love and go through stages of depression at times, watching all this and trying to find a place in his world so that I could understand what it was that he was actually going through. So
Okay.
watching him go through was the challenge, but as we began to counsel and the courses that you all offered allowed me to understand his mindset,
Excellent.
his fight or flight mindset, his, the anxiety world and seeking love type thing process. So yeah, that was challenging. And you all's trainings gave me a peace of mind with a new approach to approach him as I'm not only your grandmother, but we're a partnership, we're a team. Let's do this together. We not dictate to him, but speak in the general senses as let's clean up, let's do this, let's do that.
Okay. So you weren't just
So
telling them it's a we situation,
yeah,
like a team. Hey, what about
because
you, Catherine? It sounds like your grandbaby is like very much younger
Much
than these other
younger.
two.
My challenge basically was with my daughter, who is now in rehab, getting her to make that decision, which you can't do. It's
Right.
impossible to get a person to make the decision. And she did leave rehab once, but she is back there and she's on track. But I think the largest impact for me was basically having to leave my life and come back to California. I had just moved away from California. So I had to come back because I had to be here in order to be able to gain custody of my child or to go to the court system. We're still in the process. And it's a long, drawn out process. I could not believe. Thank goodness there's a lot of information, and the classes, as Sophia mentioned, have been helpful. But I will be honest with you, I had to disrupt my family's life here in California to get them to. They were ready to do it. Her siblings were ready. Of course, they're in Hawaii, so we had to all come together to California to take care of this grandson. And it hasn't been a disruption that we can't handle. But I had just retired.
Yeah. That's that's the story I keep hearing.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I can do this, but I had a ticket to go. I was actually on my way to do work in another part of the country and also travel. But he's here, I'm here. My family's been very supportive. Um, I just would like to have more sleep, I'll be honest with you,
Well,
at this age. But
Yeah.
we're doing it, it's happening.
what about you, Erica?
The greatest challenge that I've had is the unfortunately, my daughter is really jealous of the relationship that me and my granddaughter have, and those are the things that I'm going through. That
Oh,
um, instead of her appreciating the fact that had just retired as well when I got custody of my granddaughter in 2013, and was hoping to go on with my life, and now that readjusted, and it's fine. I'm not upset about that or anything, but the biggest issue is that it just seems like now she's really jealous of her own daughter and our relationship, and so that's really hard because I gave her the exact same life that my granddaughter has, but for some apparent reason, when she comes around, she doesn't want to nurture her. She wants to tell her what to do instead of, and she doesn't need that. She doesn't need anybody to tell her what to do. She needs some love and some hugs and things like that. She doesn't, she's so busy focused on wanting to take the parenting role, but you're not doing what you need to do to gain that trust back from her. And my granddaughter does not want to be around her anymore at all. She doesn't want to spend any time with her. She doesn't, she's graduating actually, in May from elementary school, and she doesn't even want her to attend the graduation. So
Wow.
that puts a horrible strain on me and my daughter's relationship as well, because, you know, I want to support my granddaughter in her decisions, and rightfully so. She should have a right to say what, if she can come, but then at the same time, as the parent and the grandparent, I'm left as like the person that's the moderator, and I just
Stuck in the
want to
middle.
be a good child. It, you know, it's just not. It's very unfortunate actually, and it's also allowed me to get to know who my daughter is genuinely as well, because, you know, we think that we know our kids sometimes, and then when situations like this occur, it's like, I just did not believe that you were this type of person where you should be appreciative that I have stopped my entire life gladly to take care of your child, but you're focused on the wrong stuff. And that's the biggest that I've had.
Well, I have one final question for all of you, because I didn't want to, tie you up and keep you here for too long. But this, I think, is very important to share what you think. Provide maybe, I don't know, one or two suggestions that you would want to give to someone who is coming into a situation like you, that you've learned from your experience. Maybe a shortcut or something you wish you had known when all of this happened. You want to share something like that with us? Start with you, Sophia, because I know you got to get back to work.
I would say lead with love, lead with love, lead with passionate love, and just keep it about the child. Keep it about the child. And I would let them know that at this point you're sacrificing other grandchildren from where the child is leaving. Just mentally prepare that you're sacrificing your relationship with your whichever child it is, mother, I mean, son, daughter. You're sacrificing your son and your daughter. You're sacrificing relationships with other grandchildren that you may not be able to see because you're choosing this one. This one came to you. This one needs help, and you're receiving it. And you're going to be the blame game is going to be on you. So I
That's
hope your
heavy.
shoulders are broad enough to, you know, to handle that and just lead with love and let everything else that's fallen out of place. Let's hope that it'll fall in place. But just keep it about the child.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sticking in with me, Sophia. I know
You're
it's a
welcome.
little bit of a burden, but I really appreciate you taking the time and just pop in and share your thoughts with us.
You're welcome. I hope it helps.
I definitely will. So
Thank
you
you.
can go on back to work if you need
All
to.
right.
Otherwise,
All right.
you're welcome to hang around.
All
And
right. I wish
Catherine,
I could. I have a timeline. Thank you.
okay, bye
All
bye.
righty. Bye.
So Catherine,
Um,
what are your tips for success in this situation?
that you can always learn something new. Now, I am very something new about myself and about how I can handle awkward situations, because everything is abrupt. I didn't even know my daughter was pregnant first.
Oh,
And to have someone call you and ask you to travel, you know, several thousand miles across the country to come and pick up a newborn, was alarming. But I think, and I have to honestly say this, there are so many protocols and procedures in the um, child care, adoptive, and social services process that I thought I was aware of, but I actually learned that I had absolutely not a clue. I didn't have an updated 2025 version of what the system will require of me, and and all in the name of taking care of my daughter and my grandson. So I would advise everyone to get as much information as you can from reliable sources, especially parents and grandparents and children, adults who were in the system and grew out of it and are healthy and strong now and doing well, and some who were not. I also think that it will be very helpful, and I'm trying to just kind of do this on my own, to find out about the impacts of substance abuse and for babies, for young children also, and for adults, and look at the trend that is sweeping across our country, where we're losing so many of our next generation to the drug, the trafficking. And it's such according to people who understand and have known this for years, the new drugs are just mind boggling, and they steal your soul.
Yeah.
They basically take the soul away from the human being. And that's what I saw on my
Oh,
daughter. A month before I got my grandson, my nephew was found on the streets in Stockton, California, dead. Probably drugs. It was just found. Like, you see people lying on the street, and he'd been lying there for 3 days.
oh my God.
So my sister called me, and then right after that, my sister called me to tell me about that situation. I was coming anyway, but later in the summer, for a celebration of life, and that was interrupted by this grandchild coming into the world, basically addicted to opiates and
Okay.
fentanyl at birth. So I'm just wanting to learn more about how I can support this child. He is going to have whatever issues he has because of his destiny, but I want to be as strong and capable and as informed as I can. And I ask a lot of questions of
We have some
everybody.
experts here today that I think will be able to probably address some of that,
Okay.
if you have the opportunity to continue listening in.
Yeah.
But
Is it going to
thank
like, this will be for another hour or for another
well,
45
no,
minutes?
they have each have a presentation, so about I don't know, maybe another 30 minutes or so.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
So thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Now, Erica, let's see what you
Um,
have to say.
well, I would say that in addition to me having custody of my granddaughter, my my daughter has another child as well. She decided to have another child, and I went and became a foster parent now, just in case something occurs with him. So I would say that kind of preparation, when you see things going in a certain direction, we can't change these the people, the parents, the mothers, or the kids, or our children. They have to want to change. They have to want to seek help. I've taken my daughter to drug rehab programs. She's gone, says she was going to go, and then she's gone the next day. It has to be something that she wants to do. But what I've learned is that I'm just paying attention to her behavior so I can get ahead of things in advance. And sometimes it's better just to get the information before it actually happens. And so now I'm a foster parent. If something occurs with my grandson, then I'm going to be able to get him, and I'm going to get him because he's not going to be, in the system. I would never allow for anybody in my family to be in the stranger's home when I'm able to care for them. But that's me personally. The only other thing that I would say is that we have to remember, when we're deciding to care for other people, that we have to care for ourselves. Self-care is very important. I have a very strong support. My mom is still in the picture, my sister, so they are always able to watch my granddaughter. I'm still able to go out of town. I'm still able to do a lot of the different things that I want to do. So it's been a very easy transition for me because I have the support. But for
Right.
the other people who don't have the support, just make sure that you try and get a break. look into getting like 4C's, bananas, and places like that that will allow you to be able to, if you work, or places like, that will come in and subsidize childcare so that you can get a break. But I think that that's one of the reasons why I've been able to wholeheartedly do this, is because I'm not stuck in the house. I'm able to leave when I want to. It's not a burden. It's actually a joy for her to be here, honestly. And so that's been my experience. But like I said, mine may be a little different for others who don't get to get that break. And self-care.
That's an important tip that I think a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, you got to have self-care. Yeah, I couldn't do it without, because you want to leave and you should be able to go, if you need to, and that's where abuse comes in, when you're not able to, leave. And, when you're not able to leave, you start having, issues where you take things out on the kids, and we
Right.
don't want to do that. So just make sure that you get breaks.
That's excellent. Thank you, Erica. And
Mhm.
the same applies to you. You're welcome to hang out and continue to listen to the show, because the two
Mhm.
guest experts that we have, or maybe they might have some information that you can
Yeah, I'm
use.
gonna go ahead and listen. I'm gonna take my put my phone on mute and the cam. I'm gonna stop it, but I will be in the I'm caring for someone as of right now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
Okay.
go
Thank you.
to care for them. But I will still be here.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
thank you so much for inviting me, and I appreciate that.
Not
Have a
a
good day.
problem at all.
All right.
Bye. So, with that said, we're going to move on to get the commentary from our experts. I wanted to have the grandparents on first to kind of lay the foundation for the kind of issues that they're dealing with. And this is not just three people. I mean, this is almost epidemic, just as Catherine stated. A large impact is based on the drug epidemic that we're having in the United States. So I don't see this going away. So we discussed it amongst the members of the ACA and decided that this would be a good topic to start talking about now, to get people thinking about now, even if they're not grandparents yet. This may be something that they end up facing. So let me hold on, we got Donna Moore and Shayla Bottoms. And they each have a presentation, but I wanted to give them an opportunity to say a little bit about themselves and their organization. And then we'll start with, I think we should start with Donna, because she's local, and the people that are, with the grandparents are local. And then finish up with the national organization that helps people learn how to interact with people under this trauma, and that will be Shayla. So start, Donna. Well, would you want to introduce yourself to us?
Good morning to everyone. My name is Donna Moore, and I'm with Family Support Services. I'm the Kinship Program Director here. Our agency is a community based organization located in Alameda County, physically located in Oakland, providing supportive services to families in Alameda County kinship families. Thank
Okay,
you.
and Shayla.
Everyone, I'm Shayla Bottoms, and I'm a technical assistant specialist for the Grand Families and Kinship Support Network, which is a national technical assistance center at Generations United. And Generations United is a national nonprofit based in Washington, D.C.
Excellent. So as you see, we're hitting it from all angles here today. So let's see, Donna. I'm going to load up your slideshow here.
Thank you.
Okay. And you just say next slide when you want me to advance to the next one.
Okay. So as I was noting that I am with Family Support Services, a community-based organization working with kinship, guardianship, and foster care families here in Alameda County. Next slide, please. Our mission here is to nurture children, youth, and caregivers to keep families healthy and intact. Our mission is embedded in all four of our core programs, which includes our respite child care program, our family preservation program, Growing Up Strong program, which is a pediatric behavioral health program providing services, and then what the program that I'm going to speak about today is our kinship support program, supporting kinship families who are caring for relative care children, and our kinship youth program, nurturing and guiding youth to reach their potential by offering academic support and engaging them in age-appropriate enrichment activities. Next slide, please. What is kinship care? Kinship care is when a child and a youth live full-time in the care of relatives, such as grandparents, aunts, uncles, adult siblings, extended family, godparents, fictive kin, anyone known to the family, the neighbor next door, the babysitter, even a child's teacher, someone who has stepped up to care for a child when their biological parents are not able to care for them. Why are children in kinship care? Biological parents may be in the military, may be incarcerated, suffering from mental health issues, suffering from substance abuse and alcoholism, unhoused, have unstable housing. They may be deceased due to natural causes, illness, unexpected death. Also a victim of a crime. When we hear someone who have lost their lives to crime, 95% of the time they have left a child behind. And so families have to step up and take care of that child. Some parents choose not to parent, unable to parent. And then unfortunately, there are parents, biological parents, who are not able to keep their children safe, physically abusing their children, neglecting them, and causing harm to their own children. Next slide, please. This impacts our kinship children. Feelings of abandonment, insecurities about their daily life, fear of losing their parents physically and emotionally. Children may not want to live with their parents, know that it is not safe, but they do still care about them, and they worry about their physical and emotional health. Unstable housing, feeling unsafe, not feeling safe with their biological parents. Inconsistencies in their health care and dental care. Many of the children who go in care, caregivers learn that they have not been to the doctor and have not kept up, their parents have not kept up, with their medical appointments or dental appointments. Lack of basic needs. They learn that may have been a lack of food and clothing. Inconsistencies in their education. Our caregivers come to us to share with us that the child in their care suddenly came in their care, had not been to school, and the child is 8 and 9 years old and has never been to school, not enrolled in school, no preschool, no school at all, no schooling. And also trauma that is known to families and unknown trauma. Children in care often have experienced trauma, and trauma that some caregivers may know about and have no idea about. And then the shame of guilt that children may experience. What did I do? Why doesn't my parent love me? Why doesn't my parent care about me? Why did they leave me? Why did they abandon me? So all these things impact children in kinship care. Next slide, please. So as you can see from the photos, that kinship children want to have fun. They want to be involved. And what do they want their caregivers and service providers to know? That they are resilient. They have potential to achieve their goals and their dreams, and that they appreciate their caregivers' unconditional love and patience. They're not able to verbalize that, but they do. They recognize and feel safe in the care of their grandparents and their aunts and uncles, their extended family. And they want that and need that. Earlier we heard where children as young as 9 years old saying that they don't want to live with their parent, but they still may have some challenges in acting out through their behavior, not knowing how to verbalize their needs and their frustrations and their anger. Next slide, please. What do we as service providers want kinship caregivers to know? You are not alone. And that there are services in the community, in your community, that can provide the support that you need. The services are designed to meet the needs of kinship caregivers and the children in their care. Next slide. So just want to share with you some of the supportive services that we offer here through our program here in Alameda County. I'll point out a few. For example, there's information and referral. You can call our agency and may have a question and trying to find a resource. We're able to give you that information to the best of our ability and point you in the right direction to utilize the resources directly in your community. Those families that call that are not in Alameda County, we just don't say, well, you're not in Alameda County. We actually refer you to the program that may be in Sacramento County or Solano County or Contra Costa County. And so we are here also to help you connect to those services in your community. Case management, crisis intervention. Many times that the situation may have just, you woke up one day or got a call and said your grandchild, your niece or nephew, your godchild. So often our calls that we receive, caregivers are in crisis. And so that's where we start to support them in navigating that. Advocating, supporting caregivers advocate in the school system. Children may need an individual educational plan, an IEP. Children may have not been to school. They may not have the paperwork to enroll them, the documents, the immunization record, the birth certificate. So helping the caregivers obtain that, those documents, or showing them where they may be and how to get them. Also, we meet families where they are. The question is, how can I help you? With no judgment, meeting families where they are. So some families are in different places when they take on the responsibility of taking on children, such as their grandchildren, nieces and nephews, even adult siblings, having to take on their younger siblings and trying to make sure that they're safe in a nurturing environment. Support groups. Support groups is a safe place to come and share your concerns, your challenges, your struggles, express your anger, your joys, without judgment, with your peers. Individuals who are also having that same experience are in the same place that you may be in, and being able to come and have that discussion without judgment. Caregivers are able to say, you know what, I don't know why I'm doing this, and know that you're not saying you don't want to take care of the child. You just need to vent and share that it's not working for me today and that's need a little support. And so caregivers are sharing their experiences. Like we like to say here at our agency, we facilitate the support group, but the caregivers run it, right? So who's the best to share with caregivers sharing among themselves resources and services. We also support our families with legal services, connecting them with an agency that can support them in getting legal guardianship. 99% of our families that we work with are informal. It just came to them. And so now they need to get legal guardianship or may choose to adopt, whatever the case may be, making sure that they get the right information to make the right decision for their family. And then there's educational workshops that are specifically addressing the concerns of caregivers, kinship caregivers, children's behavior, how to work with a child, a high-spirited child, how to support a child who is struggling in school, how to understand trauma and how trauma impacts children, and what can you do as a caregiver to support them. Workshops on self-care, heard that a caregiver shared that. We do address that. That's very important, self-care. And then there's a youth program supporting youth pre-K through 12th grade. Many of our children are behind academically, supporting them with their academics. We offer a 6-week summer program Throughout the year, we offer enrichment activities. Many of our children that we work with, like have dreams and goals, want to go to college, want to seek higher education. So talking to them about college, life after high school, vocational school, trade school, junior college, four-year institutions, wherever the child may be, and how to get them or support them to reach their potential. Again, our services are created and designed with kinship caregivers and kin children in mind, helping families stay healthy and intact. Next slide, please. How to get connected with our program. Family Support Services, our kinship program. Call us directly or share the information with someone you may know and pass it on. The number is 510-834-2443, extension 3008. We are here Monday through Fridays, 9 to 4:30. If we don't answer, leave a message. We pride ourselves on returning phone calls. Any questions?
We will take some questions probably at the end after we hear from Shayla. Hopefully you can stick around.
Yes, no worries. Well,
Okay.
and thank you for listening. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. So let's get Shayla on now. And give me a second. Let me load up your presentation.
Sure, take your time.
There we go. And I'll remove.
Thank you. All right. So again, I'm Shayla, and I am a technical assistance specialist for the Grand Families and Kinship Support Network, which today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the services and resources that we offer. I first want to mention that we do have a bit of a long title, so we do refer to ourselves as the network for short. And before I get started, I want to note that at Generations United, we refer to grand families and kinship families interchangeably. So we use both of those terms to mean grandparents, other relatives, and even close family friends who are raising children when parents can't. Next slide, please. All right, now I'm going to give you all a little bit of background information about the network. In September of 2021, Generations United was awarded a cooperative agreement overseen by the Administration for Community Living to start and manage the first ever and still only federally funded National Technical Assistance Center on Grand Families. Our role is to assist the various systems impacting kinship families, the ones that you see there in the umbrella, like child welfare, aging, education, and even community-based organizations. We aren't serving families directly because we believe local agencies and organizations do that best, just like the one you just heard from. But our work is supporting families now and into the future. Next slide, please. And we aren't doing this work alone. The network operates with 5 national partners. Child Trends is our evaluation partner. The National Indian Child Welfare Association brings a tribal voice to our work. The National Caucus and Center on Black Aging, or NCBA, their mission primarily targets housing, employment, and health of older Americans. U.S. Aging also brings expertise in serving older Americans. And then 0 to 3 actually brings expertise in children birth to 5 years old. And we also have multiple subject matter experts we hold contracts with on a variety of topics, including children's law, food security, child welfare policy, and more. Next slide, please. Okay, so now I want to show a quick video that will discuss who grand families are, some of the challenges they face, and what the network is. So if you don't mind, play the video, please. And if we're having any issues with the videos, there's no worries. We can move forward without it. Okay, we can move forward without playing the video. If you ever want to check that out, I'll talk about our website in a few slides. You can go to our website and check out that video. It's just a very short 2-minute video that touches on some of the obstacles that grand families encounter, like financial challenges, issues with establishing a legal relationship to the child they're raising, and housing concerns. And then it tells a little bit about what the network is. So now moving into this slide here, those are some of the reasons why the network was established, the many challenges that the families face. So what is it that the network is doing? We are providing technical assistance to government agencies and nonprofits in states, tribes, and territories to improve supports and services for kinship families. But, what is technical assistance? When I first heard that term, I thought maybe it has something to do with computers, and it does not. Technical assistance is just a term that we use to encompass everything that we do to support agencies and organizations. And there's 3 primary ways that we're doing that. One is through learning collaboratives and information dissemination. We host learning collaboratives on a variety of topics where we bring together professionals to learn from one another. We've held various learning collaboratives, and one that we completed this past year was on capacity building for peer-led kinship programs. We also host monthly live webinars on some of the leading topics impacting kinship care. These webinars are free of charge and they're always recorded. Our next webinar will be on the topic of legal service models for kin caregivers, and that's going to be on May 14th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We offer individual assistance to professionals. So if you're a professional and you have a question, let's say about a state policy related to kinship care, or you want a resource on a specific topic, for example, you can submit a request to us. We engage our partners and subject matter experts in these requests as needed to ensure that we're sharing the most up-to-date and relevant information. And then lastly, we have a centralized hub for information and resources, and that's on our website at gksnetwork.org. And I'll talk more about that on the next slide, please. We can, I think I lost my slides there. There we go. A major way that we provide support is through our centralized resource hub on our website. And this is a screenshot of our homepage. If you take a look at the top right-hand corner, you'll see that request assistance button. That's where professionals can go to fill out a form, or you just have fill in your contact information and let us know what information you're looking for. And we typically get back to everyone within a week or so. That Who We Serve tab, that will take you to information on different systems that we're engaging with through our work, and also some data around grand families. The resource library now has over 150 resources, and we keep adding to that. So we'll highlight some of those resources that we have in the next few slides. The last tab I want to highlight is the events tab. And that will take you to where you can register for our upcoming webinars and also watch the recordings of all of our past webinars. Next slide, please. I also want to note that under that Who We Serve tab on the homepage, you can find system-specific outreach brochures. This is one that we have for the aging system. This brochure briefly introduces grand families, explains how families interact with the aging system, and describes why cross-system collaboration would be beneficial. The idea is to raise awareness and educate individuals who are new to the concept of kinship or grand families. You can also share these pieces with colleagues and potential partners to help make the case for targeted support and collaboration. Next slide, please. Okay, so now I want to give you an idea of what you can find in our resource library. The network primarily creates resources that are targeted towards professionals who are serving families, but we do have a few that are written that can be shared directly with a caregiver, and caregivers can actually access these on their own or any of our electronic resources on our website. So the resources pictured here include one on becoming a grand family, first steps, and that's great for newly formed kinship families. The next one's planning for the what ifs, and that provides tips on how caregivers can develop an alternative plan of care for the child if needed. And the school breakfast and lunch programs resource talks about school meals, who's eligible, and how to access them. This is a free 90-minute professional development experience that provides a basic introduction to issues frequently facing grand families, and it focuses on legal, educational, and financial needs. This is ideal for professionals who would benefit from a greater understanding of the strengths and challenges of these families. And then lastly, I want to highlight this fact sheet for California. This sheet is full of organizations serving kinship families in the state and can help families connect with local community supports and access resources. And if you are a organization on the call and you want to take a look at this and see if it looks accurate for who is serving kinship families in your area, please do so, and you can get in touch with us to let us know if anything needs to be edited. Next slide, please. All right, well, I want to thank everyone for the opportunity to speak today. And I want to say that for more information on the network, please visit our website. Again, that's gksnetwork.org. You can also scan this QR code on the screen and sign up for our monthly e-newsletter. That's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shayla. That was really interesting, and I'm glad that we were able to hit it from both angles, because we have some professionals here that work with children in in these traumatic situations, so they might benefit from some of the resources that you popped up on the screen.
Great.
Thank you. Now we're going to take questions from the audience. So let me bring Donna back. You have to unmute your mic, Donna, on your end. It won't let me do it. And we did have one question already came in. Someone asked, I have a question for kinship care regarding birth certificate retrieval from vital statistics in other states. I have requested and paid for a document, but have not received it in 5 weeks. Is that some time that she should follow up on, or is that about normal?
So it is good question. Our experience has been it is out of state, and it does take a little longer. Do encourage the caregiver to call frequently, maybe every other week, to see what the status is. Also, when you request a birth certificate out of state, making sure that the name is spelled correctly as it would read on the birth certificate and the birth date. So sometimes names might be spelled one way today, but on the birth certificate at the time it was spelled differently. So that will take some time could delay obtaining that birth certificate. Also, if the child is under the jurisdiction of any county social worker, they also can help you obtain the birth certificate as well, because they will need to obtain that as well.
Interesting. Okay. Hopefully that answers her question. Let me double check. Yeah. Okay, well, no further comment from her, so I'm going to assume that response is responsive to her question. Anyone else have a question that you'd want to ask any of our Catherine, do you have a question? I can open your mic back up.
I'm the person who had the question about the birth certificate, because the issue is Alameda County social worker wants me to provide a copy of the birth certificate for the grandson, which is impossible because I don't have anything on the grandson. And the mother needs to have a birth certificate so that she can for herself, so that she can create get a birth certificate for the grandson. So the issue is my daughter needs to get her birth certificate. We filed for it in the state where she was born twice. The second time I paid for a certified copy to come, but the copy has to go to the rehab center where she's living. But they haven't gotten anything. I'm very tempted to just kind of make a quick trip down there and pick it up or something. That might be easier. It's like take a Friday night and then pick it up and come back the next day to get the birth certificate. And the other issue is I don't know why social services would want me to provide a birth certificate for my grandson. But that's so that I can validate that I really am doing the kinship care for him, and that I am correctly aligned in their family tree bracket as to prove that I'm actually the maternal grandmother of the child. So it's interesting, and I'm just trying to do what I can to kind of work to what I think is a process that I basically can impact by continuing to pay for my daughter's birth certificate, but the grandson doesn't even have a birth certificate.
So do you deal with these kind of legal issues a lot, Shayla and Donna? Because I know you're on the professional side, but your other team does more personal work, correct?
So go ahead. I'm sorry, Miss Sheila.
No worries at all. I was just going to mention that this is definitely an issue that we have heard before, and that's unfortunate. With our agency serving on a national level, it's really hard for me to be able to say how to get these documents, because everything is somewhat specific to states and counties, and every place has kind of their own rules. So we would always recommend a caregiver to reach out to a local organization that can really help navigate them through their local procedures. And with that, I will go ahead and let Ms. Donna speak.
So, Ms. Catherine, if I can just ask you to give me a call so I can just narrow it down a little bit more.
Okay.
I have some other questions, but I think it would be better for us to have a one-on-one conversation if you're okay with that.
No, that's fine. I will just put that in the chat that I'll follow up with you, Donna.
All right, very good. Thank you.
And what's your number? Is it that number you gave us, the 534 number?
Yes, 510-834-2443, extension 3008.
Okay, extension 3008. All right, I will follow up. Thank you very much for your support.
And thank you for the question.
Okay.
Let's see. I wanted to ask Erica if she had a question before she leaves. Erica, do you have any question for either of our two panelists? Your mic is on mute if you were trying to speak. Maybe not. Well, this did run a little bit longer than the time that I told you that I was going to have you here. Someone says, you can just type, you have a question, you can just type it right here in the chat, Deborah. And we can, I can read it to the panel. Or you can call in if you want to call. Let me, this is the number here, the link rather that you press. You just click that link on your cell phone or your laptop, and you can just call into the studio. And you can just be on audio. You don't have to turn your camera on, and you can ask them your question. I'm looking in the chat to see if there are any other questions. She says her question is, am I able to obtain shared or joint guardianship with the child's parent?
No. The answer is no. If a parent is not able, you can't share guardianship or with a grandmother and a biological parent. Not in Alameda County.
Then maybe that's like because I don't know where she's
Okay.
from. There was someone here from Ohio that said they wish they had organizations like this one in Ohio.
Share a little bit about that. If you're looking for an organization in Ohio that might be able to serve grand families, again, we have those grand fact sheets that I reviewed, the one for California, but we have one of those grand fact sheets for all the states and even a couple of tribes and territories. So if you want to go to the website, GKS Network, you can find the grand fact sheets under the tab that says who we serve, and there's one there for Ohio, and it will list all sorts of organizations in Ohio that are serving kinship and grand families.
Okay, she put a note in the chat that says she's definitely going to go to your website. So
Great.
Very good. I'm going to let you two. Oh, you have another final comment?
Yeah, can I add something? You cannot have guardianship with the biological parent, but you can have co-guardian with another relative. Many grandparents, if the court decides that they need a co-guardian, they will do it with another family member. So they call that co-guardian. And that really works for our children because if one of the caregivers are not able to continue the guardianship, they don't have to go back to court. It's already in place because they have two guardians, two co-guardians.
That's smart, actually. Well, I wanted to thank both of you for coming in and visiting with us today, especially since it went over a bit from what I originally told you. I appreciate you being able to stay and answer all the questions and share information. I think this is going to be an important issue as time goes on, as the baby boomer age group ages and the younger generation is going down the wrong path. It's not really going to look good here. And the one woman makes a comment she wants to share. Says the best thing about being adopted by grandparents is that they were older, and when one of them passed, I received Social Security every month. Well, that would help, I guess, with college and whatever else you had going on. All right, so that's it for today's. I'm going to put your information up where people can call you and visit your website just so they can take a screenshot if they missed that opportunity before. But thank you again, ladies.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right. It was good. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. We did put a lot of work into it. Let me put up, I have a slide here that shows how you can reach everyone. Just to remind you, Donna was from Family Support Services here in Oakland. That's their, you can email them there or call. And Shayla was from the Grand Families and Kinship Support Network. And you can write her that agency at info@gksnetwork.org. And they already gave you their website information. So you should be able to get everything that you need, and hopefully they provide you with a lot of resources that will be helpful to you if this is a journey that you are on. Thank you very much for attending the Area Agency on Aging and the Advisory Commission on Aging's second webinar in the series. Please look forward to more coming in later in this year. About every 4 or 5 months, we'll do one. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.